Well, don't let my festive attire fool you because I'm fired up. Here's a question. Is it worse for a foreign government to meddle in our elections, or is it worse for our own government to meddle in our elections? Because the latter is what exactly happened. The FBI tried to fix it, folks. And this is something that everybody has to pay attention to. I'm going to go a little off script here because I feel so strongly about this. I don't care what your political affiliation is. And I really don't care what you think about impeachment, not impeachment, whether you voted for the guy, didn't vote for the guy, whether you're a fan of Clinton or any of the other potential Democratic nominees. Here's the point. The FBI and the Justice Department colluded, and I'm going to use that word, with the Clinton campaign to go after Trump, to delegitimize not only his running for president, but his legitimate win as president. That's not hyperbole. I am not exaggerating. That is a fact. What happened was this. Carter Page, you may remember that name from the Steele dossier. The FBI wanted to get a FISA warrant surveillance on Carter Page. They had communications with the CIA because Carter Page was working with the CIA. And the FBI specifically asked the CIA, who is this Carter Page guy and who is he working for? Is he working for the good guys, the U.S., or is he working for the bad guys? Is he working for the Russians? The CIA comes back in an email, specifically states that Carter Page is a U.S. asset. He is working for the United States of America. Here's what the FBI does. They alter that email. They change that document. They forge it to make it say the exact opposite. They forge it to make it say that Carter Page is a Russian spy, which was a lie, 100% bold-faced lie. They then take that information, they use it as part of a sworn affidavit, because that's what you have to do when you're presenting evidence to a judge to obtain a warrant, even in the secret FISA courts. And they swear at an affidavit. They lie to the judge. The judge relies on that information and issues not one warrant, but 3. The first one, then 2 more subsequent warrants. All based on information that the FBI and the Justice Department knows is wrong, that it's a lie. Now, I honestly cannot believe that something like that could actually happen, which is the reason why I'm fired up. But I don't know why I'm so shocked by it. Because obviously things like this happen. But what is amazing is the sociopathic nature of the people who are accusing Republicans of doing the exact same thing, right? I mean, that's what's so nuts about it, is like these people are so insane that they took exactly what they were doing, turned it around, and accused Republicans of collusion with Russia when they were colluding with the Justice Department and the FBI to distract attention from their own actions. That's what sociopaths do, and that's exactly what happened. Now, if you're listening to MSNBC or CNN, they're trying to spin this in the most ridiculous, awkward way that it's almost impossible to watch, because they're focused on this idea that there was enough evidence to start the investigation. Here's why that is half true. Yes. You know why? Because the standard in a FISA application is so ridiculously low, because FISA is designed to target international spies, not U.S. citizens. So the standard is all you have to do is present articulable facts as to why you want to do it. It's not even a suspicion. It's not probable cause. And it's definitely not facts beyond a reasonable doubt. So the standard is so low that you almost can't meet it. If you just put something down that gives the judge a reason to justify him swearing out a warrant on this person, like, oh, he's working with the Russians, then the judge is going to sign it. And that's what happened. So before we get too far, yes, if the facts as presented were true, then it was justified to start. But here's the problem. It wasn't true. It was a lie. They just keep going on saying, no, they had the right to start the investigation. No, they didn't, because even to start the investigation, they were lying about Carter Page's affiliation with the Russians. But certainly, even after they started the investigation, it went completely off the rails. This report from the IG lists 17 mistakes. 17 mistakes. I've prosecuted so many criminal cases. People in my office have prosecuted thousands and thousands. 17 mistakes? Never. And I'm talking about local police, local prosecutors. You elevate it to this level, you've got the best of the best. You got the best lawyers, you got the best investigators, FBI, Justice Department lawyers. 17 mistakes? Here's the interesting thing about those mistakes, folks. Not one of those benefited President Trump. Things that make you go, right? Not one mistake benefited President Trump.
Question, Carl.
Sir.
Have you ever made 17 mistakes in a case and they all benefited one person?
It's an excellent question. I don't remember. I mean, it's pretty tough to make 7 substantial mistakes, like in one case, right? And to have all of those mistakes benefit you, that's not a mistake. That's intentional. They weren't just not following procedure. They weren't just grossly incompetent. This was systemic. This was intentional. Don't take my word for it. Go read this report. Go look at the text messages between Page, the lawyer for the FBI, and this Strzok guy. They were boyfriend and girlfriend. There's like 10,000 texts between these two. 10,000 texts. I don't have 10,000 texts with anyone. I don't know when these two were working between texts and whatever else they were doing, but their bias was so obvious. Their so anti-Trump, pro-Clinton bias was glaringly obvious. Now, it doesn't just stop there. So even with this whole Steele dossier, that Steele dossier was completely funded by the Clinton campaign. And it was supposedly based on anonymous Russian sources by that well-paid British spy. I think his name was Christopher Steele, Rob. Well, even the sanctimonious James Comey said in his congressional testimony that the information contained in the dossier was salacious, that it was unverified. Well, who turned that dossier over to the FBI and used it as more evidence to obtain the FISA warrants? Andrew McCabe. Remember him? Another FBI agent, this time deputy director level. He was the guy that Trump let go a day before his pension vested. This guy needs to be charged. He was fired over his bias in the investigations. Now, the media, the MSNBC media, wants you to believe that the dossier was just a small part of the information that substantiated the FISA warrants. Completely not true. That information was critical, along with the lie about Carter Page being a Russian spy. So literally, all of the information contained to substantiate, to verify, to justify, spying on the Trump campaign was completely made up. Completely made up. Okay, so great opposition research by the Clinton campaign. But to have the Justice Department and the FBI be knowing co-conspirators with them is beyond the pale and ought not be tolerated, regardless of what your political affiliation is, folks. You can hate Trump all you want, but if they can do this to the president, then you and I have absolutely no chance at anything that resembles justice. And this is why I'm so fired up about this, and this is why everyone needs to be fired up about this, because these people need to be held accountable. If the rule of law means nothing, then we could literally just dissolve into complete anarchy, right? I mean, if the badge, when these guys come to your door, and you're like, if the organization is just so tarnished, what authority do they have? They're just thugs with badges and guns. If they're not trying to uphold the law, And you know there are people out there who already feel that way. They don't need any more reason to feel that way. Same with fake news. I never really paid attention to the whole fake news. You know what? Turn on the TV, turn on MSNBC, turn on CNN, and they're lying about what is in this report. Flat out lying, straight-faced. So either they're total psychopaths or they know exactly what they're doing. And they don't expect the people who are listening to them to go and verify what they're saying. Because there are people on my social media page, as I present them facts, they're saying, yeah, but nothing. Because again, I don't care about impeachment. I'm talking about people at the highest levels of government manufacturing evidence to go after a U.S. citizen. Stop. Hard stop right there. We don't get past that. Well, I got off track a little bit. I'm going to conclude with this. We as a society cannot ignore the litany of mistakes, the misrepresentations, and the lies by senior people in the government. Senior people who have a lot of authority, who can take away your freedom, who can threaten to take away your kids' freedom. I mean, you think about some of the people who have gone to jail. And part of the reason why they've pled guilty to crimes is because defending yourself can literally bankrupt you. And then in the case of some people who have gone to prison, they've threatened to go after their children as well. While the Hillary Clintons of the world and her compatriots get away with nothing. Well, now we know why. Because these same jokers, the McCabe's and the Comeys and the rest of them, were all playing for her team. How does she erase 33,000 emails and not be charged? How does she have that information in an unsecure server and not be held accountable? How is she basically doesn't give a statement under penalties of perjury to the authorities? And Comey and those guys just say, well, it was a little irregular. Oh, really? It was irregular. Okay. No. This stinks from the top down, and I feel badly for the men and women of the Justice Department and the FBI who are trying to do their jobs. Because, I mean, you think about even a jury trial where you have an FBI agent now testifying, and you know that in the back of people's minds, especially people who are paying attention, they're going to be, well, I mean, they are. Maybe we're not going to presume them to be telling the truth on all issues because this thing is so bad. So I guess that's why I think this is important to talk about. I'm going to continue to talk about it. I'm going to continue to write about it because the implications are so far-reaching for our society. I think this isn't an episode of Homeland. This is real. This is real life. We are careening toward a cliff, and this does not have a happy ending. I don't mean to be so doom and gloom, but we need to wake up and pay attention because it's happening. The facts are staring us right in the face. They did this to President Trump with impunity, and as I've said, and I'll end with this: I don't care if you're a Trump fan or not, but this is brazen illegal conduct, and it could happen to any one of us. We need to wake up. We need to pay attention. It's Carl Brizzi, Carl Brizzi Live. You can visit us at carl@carlbrizzi.com or on Facebook.